Hi, all. Good morning. Thanks for having us. I'm not sure how I follow Leland and the doctor, but I'll do my best here. Peter Navarro, a guy who I've known probably 8 years now, since the beginning of the first term.
I think so.
Peter is a senior counselor to the president for trade and manufacturing. I think those stories are in the news a little bit.
A little bit.
It's interesting because so too is the Fed Chair, Jay Powell.
Yeah.
I said 6 months ago I thought that he would be one of the most famous people in this town because the president didn't really like his policies, and that's where we are at this moment. So let's start there. There's a report out in Bloomberg this morning that Kevin Hassett is the early front runner to be the next Fed chair. Do you think that's where it is right now?
Oh, I'm not going there.
So
I love Kevin. He'd do a great job. But let's talk. Let me just explain. I'm not new to the Jay Powell criticism thing. I've been writing about this since the first term. And folks, let me explain. My background is as a macroeconomist. And what Powell has done incredibly and historically is he's the worst Fed chair, I think, in history. And let me just make the case for you. He's made 3 major policy blunders in just 6 years. And we start with the first term, when President Trump is passing the first Tax Cut Act. And we are in the process of tax cuts. We're doing deregulation. We're strategic energy dominance. Oil prices are going down. And we're doing fair trade. And this is like the Trumpnomics thing where we're able to grow much more rapidly than the Obama-Biden new normal kind of era, if you know that language, without creating inflation. And Powell was incapable, just totally incapable of understanding that. And what he did was, too early Powell, raised rates during that time. And the Federal Reserve subsequently would issue a report that said that Powell and the Fed's decision cost us a point of growth, which is a lot. Then in Biden's time, you were there.
Yep.
He never said anything about the irresponsible fiscal bills. He just accommodated that.
Okay.
And he raised rates way too early and unleashed the inflation. And now today he's making the same mistake.
Okay.
So this is not a guy who understands economics. He's a lawyer, and he needs to be reined in by his board. I think that's the bottom line.
Reined in by the board. Okay.
July 29th, 30th, that's the next meeting. Will they lower or not? There's got to be somebody on the Board of Governors who's going to take the lead to make the case.
So he was appointed, though, by President Trump. President Trump was the one who put him in the first term. And now the president's going to have a decision.
Might have wanted that one back.
I think you guys want to redo on that one, right?
That was
Okay.
what I would fondly call Steve Mnuchin's folly.
So
Remember, yeah,
so
it was Mnuchin.
Mnuchin is the one who advocated for him.
Yes.
And the president, privately, I'm told, would always bring that up, right? Would always sort of make that known to Steve Mnuchin. I see your reaction, but I want to move.
But the thing about when Powell, see, he's a political animal. You have to understand. It's like when he was auditioning for that job, he led us all to believe that he was totally on the Trump train and understood the ability of Trump policies to grow the economy faster without creating inflation. And if you want to push back on that, please do. But we proved that we could do that. And so and then with Biden, he sucked up to Biden so he could get reappointed. And that was the root of the problem of him not raising rates fast enough when all this, it was a combination of demand pull inflation from the bad bills they were passing,
right,
and supply shocks because they didn't, as Buttigieg screwed up the supply chain.
You bring up, though, Trump policies.
Yes.
And it leads me to the next question, which is the president has a pick to make here at some point.
Sure.
Should it be from someone learning the lessons of the past, how the administration views it? Should it be from someone who is inside the administration, who is trusted?
Yeah.
Or should it be someone from outside the administration?
So, look, the independence of the Federal Reserve is very important. I'm the first to say that there shouldn't be partisanship. I think the two best Fed chairs historically were William McChesney Martin, who stood up to LBJ when the guns and butter thing was going on and said, I'm the guy who takes away the punch bowl when the party's getting good, right? I mean, that's the kind of Fed chair you want. And just like Paul Volcker had the courage to basically induce just this severe recession to bring down inflation. Those guys understood economics and they implemented. So all I want is a Fed chair who understands how economies work. And Powell ain't that. And interestingly enough, this is a very tough job.
You can fire. Do you think he can be fired?
I'm not going there. You want to make a headline? No, but no.
No, but it's about the way out,
look,
right?
The issue, look, we're in the end game now for Powell, and what I think needs to happen, Powell doesn't determine the decision. It's the Board of Governors that does. But the problem with the Fed now is it's too politicized because a lot of folks on that board are Democrat appointments who hate Trump, and it's just we got to get beyond that, okay? For the American people's sake. The man won in a landslide, and that doesn't happen unless the people are behind him. So he ran on, what did he run on? Closing the border. He ran on fair trade. He ran on a strong defense. He ran on strategic energy dominance. Right. He's deregulation. He's doing all that stuff. And we learned from the first term, Blake, we learned from the first term that those policies stimulate the economy in a way which does not provoke inflation. So we need somebody who will embrace that philosophy at the Fed. And it's not for me to choose.
Let me ask you about the trade policy and tariffs, because it is something that the Fed chair is watching. President Trump spoke last night on the...
But not understanding, to be clear.
We'll leave it there. Yeah. The president spoke last night on his way back from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And because there's the August 1st deadlines and all the letters are being sent in.
Yes.
The president suggested that there could be 5 or 6 deals by the end of the month, but maybe really only 2 or 3, depending on how things shake up and whether he likes them or not. So you're either going to get trade deals, let's just call it a handful, give or take, or tariffs, right? And if that's the case, if there are more tariffs than trade deals, is that viewed as a victory by the administration?
So let's be clear, the trade deals are tariffs. I mean, let's do Indonesia, okay? The Indonesia is a microcosm of what we're trying to do. The subtext here is that we live in a World Trade Organization system which by law allows every other nation in the world to charge us higher tariffs. It's called the most favored nation clause. It's like insane that we agree to that. And it also allows other nations to impose high non-tariff barriers. So by definition, there's a reason we have $1 trillion trade deficit every year is because they cheat us. So that's got to change. So if you take just Indonesia yesterday that the president announced, this is a country that's the 4th largest in the world. Most people don't know that. If you ask them that, they think it's like this small little place out there. But it's the 4th largest country in the world. Historically, it has cheated us. It has not. It kept high tariff barriers, particularly to our agricultural products. What have we got now in the deal? We've got a 19% tariff that they're accepting to. Okay, they are in exchange have no tariffs on us, and they promise no non-tariff barriers. They're going to buy our ag. They're going to buy our energy. They're going to buy our medical devices, which they haven't done in the past. And instead of having a $17 billion a year trade deficit with Indonesia, we'll probably get that to 0 under those conditions. Now, that is a beautiful thing. And so when you say, Blake, it's either tariffs or deals, no, it's like it's tariffs and deals.
You view it as both.
Every deal that we're striking is having a global trade component in it, okay? With the UK, I think it's 10%. So the reason why we have to do this is because those countries cheat us. I mean, we've got to, as a country, agree on that. The Democrats The left can't disagree with that. It's just fact. So the only question becomes, what do you do? And of course, the next thing out of the left's mouth is, well, it's going to create inflation.
Well, you did see CPI rise, inflation, the inflation print. Liberation Day was April 2nd, and the headline number went from 2.3 to 2.7 over the last 2 months.
Below expectations.
Do you not draw a straight line, though, from, okay, we're collecting all these tariffs to CPI rising?
Absolutely not. In fact, the Council of Economic Advisors, which is a body it's quasi-independent in the White House, but it's in the EEOB, came out with a study last week which looked at the prices of imported goods versus domestically produced goods. There was no evidence at all of inflation in imported goods. In fact, that was going down a little bit. It was going up a little bit in domestically produced goods, but the net was nothing. And again, the problem with everybody who criticizes our policies and warns about inflation is history's on our side. We heard the same damn thing coming out of the same mouths of the same damn people, and they were wrong the first time around.
So square the last 2 months for me then.
What? Go 2.4 to 2.3 in one print? That tells us nothing.
Over the last 2 months. And I guess the question is...
That really tells us nothing. And with respect to Fed policy, even with that, we should be at least 50 to 100 basis points lower than we are if you just look at relative interest rates around the world and what other countries have been doing. So here's the thing. These countries, Navarro's law, like the bigger the country, okay, the bigger the country that's cheating us, right, the bigger our trade deficit with the country, the more they got to eat the tariffs. It's just a fact, because in order for those countries to have their economy go, they got to keep stuffing products here, and the only way they're going to do that is lowering prices. And that was our experience, Blake, in the first term.
Let me give you a practical example, because there's probably, 70%, 60, 70, 80% of the people in this audience, I bet you have an iPhone. I was just showing you some things on my iPhone back there, for example. The president wants iPhones made here, and depending on whatever model you get, right, $600, $1,000, somewhere in between. Analysts, though, have said...
Did you ever think a phone would cost $1,000?
What? An iPhone?
Yeah.
That's what it costs.
I know. But think about it.
You think it's cheap? It's cheap.
I don't know. I mean, it's just it's a hard concept to wrap your head around.
But the analysts say if we assemble iPhones and make them here in this country, you're talking about $2,000, maybe even up to $3,500 iPhones.
It's nonsense.
The president wants them made here and has talked about a 25% tariff. If you're looking at it, Peter, through the lens of Tim Cook, they can make them cheaper overseas. Consumers can buy them cheaper. It's better for his company. It's better for his shareholders. Why not continue down that path?
Well, first of all, I see Apple as sui generis. It's not
as what?
It's sui generis. It's like unto itself, right? It's like when you have the tariff discussion, it's really not useful to use Apple as a reflection of tariffs more broadly. It's just like it just isn't. But when you talk about the Apple thing, I'll give you my own experience. In the first term, Tim Cook, you see him at the White House like every other day. He's coming in and shaking hands and being nice and being Tim Cook, and his rhetoric is one of, hey, we're too big in China to tariff, right? And if you tariff us, then Samsung and whatever is going to steal our market share.
Okay.
But we promise, Mr. President, that if you simply give us some tariff relief now, we'll come produce in the United States. We will do that. That's like 2018. That's like 2019. That's 2020. They didn't do it. They just didn't do it. So and I know for a fact that, for example, Corning makes that beautiful.
Lots of components.
They can do that here. They can do it here, and these cost estimates. So I don't love talking about Apple because it's not the norm. I mean, what you're seeing here, and grant me this, we're seeing trillions upon trillions of dollars of commitments from all sorts of other companies, not named Apple,
So you talk, and
who are going to come right here and produce right here and create jobs right here and create tax revenues right here. And by the way, they're going to do it, and as they're putting that in, they're going to get 100% expensing. And the big, beautiful bill is encouraging them just as terror protection is protecting them.
We only have a minute or so left, but you talk about, and the president mentions the trillions of dollars in investment, but the government numbers show that manufacturing has declined after Liberation Day by 7,000 jobs in May and 7,000 jobs in June. Why?
It takes a while for investment to kick in. Yeah, it takes, what, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, depending on the type of product.
So at least a year for manufacturing.
But we're going to see plenty of investment coming in. We're going to see plenty of jobs created, and life's going to be good.
Let me leave you with this, Peter Navarro.
All right. Here we go.
Stock market.
The zinger.
No, not at all. You know I don't do that. Stock market, unemployment, gas prices. S&P 500 right now is at 62.50. Unemployment rate 4.1. Gas prices $3.15. Where do you think those are going by the end of the year?
Well, I love our energy policy, so gas prices will be fine. I actually predicted 50,000 on the Dow when I first got in this time. The day after the election in 2016, literally the day I went on CNBC and predicted 25,000 on the Dow, everybody thought I was nuts, and we hit that like in, 18 months or something. What we care about in Trump land is rising real wages. We want people to have jobs, and we want their inflation-adjusted wages to go up. I think that's going to happen. We had that in the first term. We're going to see robust employment. We're going to see, AI is going to have a tremendous impact on the employment market.
That's what Peter and I were talking about.
Yeah, and we've got to be able to offset that, but the productivity gains are going to drive wages up. So I see a full employment economy, a strong stock market, Main Street, Wall Street's happy, and lastly, I just want to say I want to congratulate what you're doing at News Nation.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
During this campaign, as I get tired of the polarization, and there was nowhere where you could really have a conversation, and News Nation emerged and was one of the places where you could go
what we're doing.
Without getting toxic.
We appreciate it. No gotchas here, as you saw. Just tough but fair questions, I would say. And if you tell me who the Fed chair is backstage, I'll let all you know. Peter Navarro, thank you, sir.
Yeah. I'm not telling you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.